Ad Astra, my fellow space exploration enthusiasts. I am Axat from India, and I just am pumped about India's first 32-bit semiconductor chip indigenously developed by the Semiconductor Labs in Chandigarh after being designed by the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center way down south in Kerala, and of course the entire operation being overseen by ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization in Bangalore. Alright, so after this awesome Max collaboration, I am just glad that we are going to have a space chip on our spaceships. Alright, but that's enough about the previous video that I made. Now I want to take you through some international news in space exploration and human space flight. And of course, I am very grateful to space.com for giving me up to date news about all things space. That being said, I must tell you that they have been in operation for a long time, including having Sally Ride, the first US female astronaut on their as their first president, and Neil Armstrong, the first man to walk on the moon, on their board of directors. Okay, so with that, let's get down to some brass tacks. The first thing that I want to say is US, the United States, is in danger of losing the moon race. Now, space race was won by them because USSR at the time gave up on its lunar landing dreams after the Apollo program overtook the Soviet program. But I think now it's a much more global competition. China has joined Russia and the USA in that space powerhouse category, and they are obviously making plans for the moon because of helium-3 as well. Next up in line in spaceflight news is a radical Big Bang theory and a spy satellite causes chaos. Of course, that was a very brief moment of panic when we misidentified a satellite that was not on the, shall we say, public records, which caused a streak on some observations. But rest assured, nothing is going to pulverize Earth as we know it, at least for the moment. Of course, there are lots of Sentry projects, including the project named Sentry by NASA, and lots of near Earth object tracking systems that are always on the lookout for future impacts that might threaten humanity, which is why I think we need to become multiplanetary, as Elon Musk says. SpaceX, of course, is at the forefront of reusable rocket technology. They have already done something which was thought impossible, but that's the thing about space exploration and scientific advancement. Unless we try and imagine new things and we try and create them in real life, there is no advancement possible for Earth. So that is why I think humans should get beyond petty disputes and illogical differences and work together, collaborate, not just on social media, but also in real life, and take society forward. Yeah, come on. Okay, but let's go to the next thing, which is the third interstellar object that we have detected in just the past few years, right? The first one was called Oumuamua. It's a Hawaiian word for a traveler who has come from a distant land, and I think it was named because it was spotted first, identified first by an astro observatory in Hawaii. The second one is Borisov, and the third one, which we are tracking right now, has been detected by one of those systems I was talking about, Atlas, right? So Atlas is the system that detected it, and that is why it has been given the name 3I/Atlas. Now, it's possible that some spacecraft which are out there in the solar system might be able to glimpse it visually with their cameras. Let's see what happens. The James Webb Space Telescope has also taken a few, shall we say, calculated photographs or indirect photographs, observations of this body, and the information and the knowledge that we are gaining from it is just going to add more to our understanding of our little tiny space in this vast universe. But it is our space nonetheless, and we should expand it. Okay, because human lifespans are very small at the galactic scale, and that is why I think if we can make even a bit of a positive difference within our lifetimes, we have contributed positively to society. Okay, there is a jet-sized asteroid that is nearing Earth, but like I said, no need to panic. As Douglas Adams put it so aptly, don't panic. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is awesome, Max. So is Space Sushi. So the ISS astronauts, of course, keep on becoming the guinea pigs for experiments by food scientists here on Earth. And Space Sushi was one of those things. Rectangular telescopes, other than the normal round ones, circular ones, and the James Webb Space Telescope's hexagonal ones, are also being experimented with. Starship, I was talking about SpaceX and Elon Musk. Starship carried out the 10th test flight for Starship, and SpaceX has just been improving fast and rapidly, and I think that is how we are going to get beyond Earth to the moon and then, of course, to Mars. Okay, there is a bit of a dampener as well because Antarctic research stations faced sexual harassment complaints, and that is something, isolation and being far off, actually unreachable by any support whatsoever, is what astronauts face. On that note, there is an experiment in Ladakh, in Hanle, which I have had the fortune of visiting, the highest astronomical observatory in India, and they have set up a habitation for planetary exploration. Hope is what they have called it, in which two or three people, I guess, two people are spending time in isolation and mocking the mock-up, sorry, experiencing the mock-up of space travel, being isolated for long periods of time with uh, only communication, nothing, no physical support available from ground teams. So that is something that is to keep in mind when you consider how difficult space exploration is. Shubhanshu Shukla, of course, became the second Indian to go to space on an Axiom space mission. Axiom has been developing the spacesuits for Artemis 3, which is USA's lunar landing mission, slated for who knows how long in the future. But they have designed the spacesuits in collaboration with Prada. And Giorgio Armani died, by the way, RIP. Not that I ever wore any of his luxury suits, but a name in world fashion nonetheless. Nevertheless, Dwarf Planet series may have been suitable for life, and like I said, I'm thankful for space.com's emails for keeping me up to date with all things space. So, circling back and calling out the, shall I say, leap that India is making with all sorts of great startups, Pixel, Dhruv, uh, Agnikul, Cosmos, and a few others whose names I'm sure I will pick up more as they gain more and more prominence in the space exploration industry. I'm wishing all my fellow Indian space flight enthusiasts and Indian space technology startups all the best. Add Astra and make sure that you never give in. That is the motto of my alma mater, the Lawrence School Sanar, whose astronomy club I first attended when I was a child, to quote Pink Floyd, and that ignited that curiosity in my mind about the little blue marble that we live on, which is home to all life that we know of, at least until aliens come knocking at our doors. Alright, so with that, I will say that even though the search for extraterrestrial intelligence is a far-fetched thing, check out the Drake's equation if you are ever mathematically inclined to follow these kind of thoughts. But I will just say that until we find other civilizations, which is going to be far, far in the future, we must try and make positive impact on society, not just in space tech, but in practical matters, in ways in which we can improve other people's lives, in which we can improve our own lives, reduce our burden, reduce our individual carbon footprint on the planet, just act a little greener, think a little better, think about the future, think about our kids. I always wish Advitya the best for the future because nobody knows what's going to happen. So I live by 6Rsm, and that just means living in the moment the best you can with high hopes for the future and learning from the past but not dwelling on it. More about this is available in my book, A Life Afloat, and my science fiction book, An Android Awoke, which is set on Earth, Moon, and Mars 400 years in the future when we have already established lunar colonies and the Mars colony is on its way to becoming self-sufficient. But the Mars colony has discovered a new element or synthesized something out of Martian elements that could possibly make close to light speed travel a possibility. So that's the universe that I explore in An Android Awoke. Of course, the name tells you a lot about it. It's also about the first android to gain sentience. Artificial intelligence is all the talk right now, but truly conscious artificial intelligence sparks life in the, shall I say, protagonist of my book. And the second lead, the co-lead, is Selena, a moon-born space pilot who has just made the first solo space flight between Earth, Moon and Mars, which takes almost 2 years for a round trip. And astronauts might have to spend a lot of it in hibernation because frankly once the trajectory is set, there is nothing much to do except wait and hope, fingers crossed and peanut bags in hand, that everything goes according to plan, like Red Hot Chili Peppers sang. And I think you will find in all of my other videos lots of digressions into things that interest me and spirals into lots of related things, but that's just how I am. Thank you so much for watching. Jai Hind.